First on Fox, we begin with a story that shocked the community. Thieves armed to the teeth in the West Valley, stealing high-end vehicles parked outside while the owners were inside asleep.
4 men who were recently indicted are accused of being part of an auto theft ring with ties to Mexico. And today, Arizona DPS said at a news conference they've recovered 22 of the stolen vehicles. Fox 10's Lindsay Regis joins us live with more on that tonight.
John and Christina, these cars were either stolen in parking lots or driveways, and the value of the cars totaled $1.4 million. Now, we spoke with a local auto shop to find out what you can do to prevent this from happening.
They don't look like a traditional thief with a Slim Jim or breaking a window. It could be a very nicely dressed man or woman just walking into a car with a clone key and steal it right in broad daylight, and there would be nothing suspicious about it.
Matt Allen, owner of Virginia Auto Service, is referring to the recent string of car thefts in North Phoenix and Waddell that happened between September 23rd and November 1st.
This was a coordination effort of individuals using sophisticated means to steal high-end vehicles throughout the state of Arizona. These vehicles were transported into Mexico to continue the efforts and further goals of transnational criminal organizations.
I'm here to announce the grand jury indictment of 4 individuals. Their names are Jorge Aguilar, Andrew Reyes, Luis Rodriguez, and Douglas Zelaya.
This video in Waddell shows the thieves stealing a truck from a driveway armed with assault rifles.
This ring involves stealing vehicles, falsifying VIN numbers and license plates, and transporting the stolen vehicles across the border into Mexico.
The group used a key cloning device in order to steal where owners thought they were safest.
It could be in your apartment or condo, for example, and somebody with a strong enough device like this, with a strong enough antenna, could receive that.
DPS says Faraday bags can be used to stop criminals from accessing your key fob signal. A simple search on Amazon shows numerous options for Faraday bags. Some vendors sell pouches and bags, while others offer an enclosed box to block your key's RF signal.
I wouldn't keep your key fob like in a bowl by your front door. I'd keep it inside the house further in because how far the signal can go.
Here's another tip that gives you an extra layer of security.
You could go old school, go back to the club like we had in the 80s and 90s. Stuff like that would be the preventive, just not to be the easy target, I think is the best way.
Now, one last tip, although it won't stop your car from it being stolen, but put an AirTag inside your car or some sort of tracking device. That way, if it is stolen, police can find it much quicker. Reporting live, Lindsay Regis, Fox 10 News.
A shocking murder here on the street in busy Midtown Manhattan. Investigators are still surrounding this Hilton hotel and searching for the suspect in what they're calling a targeted killing. An all-out manhunt Wednesday in New York City for the suspect who gunned down the CEO of UnitedHealthcare. Brian Thompson was shot and killed outside a hotel where he was set to speak to investors.
I want to be clear. At this time, every indication is that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack.
Police say a masked gunman shot Thompson in the back before fleeing on foot and then riding an electric bike to nearby Central Park. The 50-year-old executive was rushed to a nearby hospital but did not survive. The NYPD says it doesn't have a clear motive for the shooting.
It appears the suspect was lying in wait for several minutes. And as the victim was walking to the conference hotel, the suspect approached from behind and fired several rounds.
Police say the gun jammed before the suspect cleared it and started firing again.
At the scene, we recover 3 live 9mm rounds and 3 discharged 9mm shell casings.
We have the drones up, we have aviation out, we have K9 out.
Thompson did not have a security detail with him, and his wife told NBC News he previously received threats but did not alter his travel plans. This shooting happened just a few blocks away from Rockefeller Center, where thousands gather to watch the annual Christmas tree lighting. Police say that event is going on as planned with a heavy NYPD presence. In New York City, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
The assault on Bissonnette happened on November 24th at 7:30 p.m. And when the mugshots of the guys who allegedly did it came out, an employee here at the Raven Golf Club recognized them immediately as the same group of men who attacked him that same night just an hour prior. Now, I reached out to Phoenix police. They are aware of the similarities between the two incidents and are investigating. Carter, an employee at the Raven Golf Club, says his jaw still hurts from getting assaulted on the night of November 24th.
He just runs at me, pins me up against the wall, and starts wailing on me.
He shared surveillance video of the attack committed by a man in a green shirt, a man who was drunk and refused to leave at closing time.
Like, I had a good black eye for a week, but my jaw's still sore, and I have like a big bruise on the top of my head, like under my hair.
Carter believes that man to be Danny Bradley, the same man in the same group that attacked former Arizona Coyotes hockey player Paul Bissonnette at Houston's restaurant in Scottsdale just an hour later.
Yeah, 100%.
And why do you say that?
I just recognized him immediately. I saw him a bunch of times that day.
Scottsdale police say it was around 7:30 that same night. Bissonnette saw a group of 6 drunk men harassing the bar staff for not serving them another drink. When he tried to stop the men, the group then became violent with him. He described the experience on his podcast, Spittin' Chicklets.
I grabbed the guy's arm. I said, listen, buddy, if you keep harassing and assaulting the staff here, I said, we're going to go outside and we're going to have some problems.
But unlike Carter, who just had to take it,
I mean, he's half foot taller than me, 150 pounds heavier than me.
Bissonnette, who made a name for himself as Biz Nasty, a fighter on the ice, was able to take them on, fighting back until police showed up and arrested them, the majority visiting from Fort Worth, Texas. You can see in these mugshots, it appears Biz Nasty got in some hits, and he was enraged when he heard they had gone after Carter, too.
Maybe I should have just sat down and waited for my traditional salad from Houston's and minded my own business. But what if that Danny Bradley cocks his right and ends up feeding one of those managers at Houston that same right hook that he did at the golf club? What if one of those guys drop and next thing you know, they got a conky, or even worse, they hit their head and they're on a breathing tube?
Carter says he reported the assault to Phoenix police, who say they are investigating the 2 cases independently and have not confirmed the suspects are the same in both incidents. Meanwhile, there's no guarantee the Texas men charged with misdemeanors and one with a felony will return to Arizona for their court date. They were released with no bail.
I just think that they should be punished for what they did. Like, people can't just go around beating people up and getting away with it.
It's got to feel kind of good to know that he met his match later on that night in a hockey player, right?
Yeah, it's definitely nice that they went and hit the wrong person later that night.
Both Carter and Bissonnette don't understand why these men were released without bail. They're all from Texas. Now, one of them, Sean Daly, did appear before a judge here and was told that for his next court date, he has to appear in person. And he responded to the judge by saying he'd try. We'll see what happens. In Phoenix, Ashley Rodriguez, Fox 10 News.
A national DNA testing project is hoping to crack a cold case that goes back more than 20 years. They're coming forward to talk about it because it's a 22-year-old mystery. Back in April of 2002, a Jane Doe, as police call someone in a case like this, was found dead on University Drive in Tempe. Police think she died from a cocaine overdose. But after releasing a facial reconstruction, so far, no one has come forward to claim her body. Here we are now, 22 years later, and the DNA Doe Project ran her sample in a different database, but they still don't have a single match. They have the ability to do the familial DNA. So they're asking anybody who thinks they might recognize her to submit their own DNA samples to try to solve the case and maybe even reach out to her family.
First tonight at 6, a suspect arrested in the murder of a Tempe woman is extradited back to Maricopa County from Tennessee to face charges. Law enforcement arrested 22-year-old Sincere Hayes last week. He's being held in the death of 22-year-old Mercedes Vega. She was last seen at her apartment complex in Tempe in April of last year. Detectives say that her burned body was found inside of a car that did not belong to her along the I-10 in Tonopah. An autopsy shows that Vega had been shot, there was bleach in her throat, and that she died from smoke inhalation. Fox 10's Desiree Fluellen has more tonight.
Sincere Hayes, 10/31/2002.
This is 22-year-old Sincere Hayes facing charges including first-degree murder in the death of a Tempe woman.
Sir, you are here today on a Superior Court grand jury warrant.
Hayes was extradited to the Valley over the weekend and stood to face a Maricopa County judge this morning. He's accused of taking part in the murder of Mercedes Vega in April of 2023. Her body was found burning in a car along the I-10 in Tonopah. In court today, insight into his criminal history.
He does have a felony conviction out of Georgia. He has 2 pending cases in Chattanooga, Tennessee, that are misdemeanors in that state.
Hayes was arrested in Chattanooga on November 11th. The warrant, as it relates to the Vega case, remains sealed because authorities are looking at other suspects.
At this point, we would ask for the integrity of the investigation that the warrant fact sheet be temporarily sealed.
His bond is set at $2 million cash. Hayes' next court appearance is scheduled for December 4th. Desiree Fluellen, Fox 10 News.